Good day, learners, and welcome to our English virtual class. Stay tuned as we unlock new ideas and insights for today's episode. It's me again, your English buddy, Teacher Bertlin, who will help you to learn English well. Good day and God bless everyone. I am Bertlin Villahawan Marcel from the BSED English 2 together with my partner. And today, we are going to report our assigned topic, the sharings, the Earth's resources. And now, we will going to report first my assigned topic. So, there are a huge number of people who live in absolute poverty while there are those who are extremely wealthy. Today, we are going to demonstrate the great contrast and financial which is divided into these groups. According by the HDR or the Human Development Report, the richest 5% of the world's people receives 114 times the income of the poorest 5%. The richest 1% receive as much as the poorest 57%. The Human Development Report indicates that of the world's 6 billion people, there are only 1.2 billion live or less than $1 a day. The world's populations will have increased by around 600 people. By 2050, our planet will be home to early 10 billion humans, compared with fewer than 8 billion people in 2020. But how these sources fit in our Earth, or shall I say, how Earth resources can sustain to a billion people of the world? The extent poverty is indicated as well in other measures. Even though our planet Earth, known for its strong foundation of many minerals like gold, copper, and other precious stones, but yet our stability is in a lower level. Through its hunger and poverty, the UNICEF, according to them, there are 30,000 children under the age of 5 and below die each day due to the extreme hunger and poverty. It is equivalent to 210,000 children under 11 million are being affected of this problem. We talk about also in the Philippines. So in the Philippines, there are 4.7 million families, or 29% of the population were poor according to the 2016 census taken. The average poverty line for a family was determined by 5%. It will equivalent of 1,274 pesos per month. However, it was estimated that nearly 40% of Filipino people are poor or considered as in the low class. Uneven distribution of wealth and resources is a situation of violence known as the structural violence. So what is the structural violence? This violence refers to the system, institution, and policy of a certain country that aims to meet some people's human needs, their rights, or wants at the expense of others. So what could be the main reason why do people involve such these kinds of practices? The reason is hunger and poverty. It is the most symptoms for this violence of these systems, institutions, and policy are well entrenched. Means it is fixed or have existed for so long but they cannot be changed. It is very difficult to change attitudes that have become so deeply entrenched over the years. It could be linked into a global economic, international order which is controlled by a powerful nation or a state. Poverty became the leading problem of the world that cannot be solved up until in our generation today. But what are the some factors that can explain this poverty and economic inequity? But historians, social scientists, and peace educators, among others, have offered explanation for this phenomena. So, today we will talk about the other causes of poverty, or why country experience some poverty. No? The other causes of poverty are more frequently pointed to us are follows. First, war and armed conflicts disrupt the people's livelihood and all productive activities. So, we all know that wars between nations to nations can be disrupted once, like the war between Russia and Ukraine. Even though we are very far from that two nations, but it could really affect people's livelihood, especially it can affect us in our economic stabilities. That this could be the reason why world gain or undertake a poverty. The second one causes is that a political system which is created by a local political elite that have been combined with a profit-motivated economic system that reduce opportunity of people to earn enough to meet their basic needs. A wrong political system could be the reason why people experiencing extreme hunger, because instead of giving them an opportunities to earn, this wrong system could drag or causing people to become more and more difficult to progress. The third reason is inequitable distribution of wealth and resources, much of which began in a colonial history. So, in order to overcome and meet the satisfaction of overcoming poverty, it should have an equal liabilities in terms of the wealth and fair policies which can help reaching a fair distribution of resources. The fourth one is the environmental condition. Some places are blessed with more abundant resources, like in our municipality. We all know that municipality of Lala are rich in exotic and natural foods. We all know that also municipality of Lala are also rich in agricultural sectors. Through this, we are so blessed because all of these resources we can get, it can sustain us either. But some other country also, they cannot yield crops in their lands because of overutilization of resources. We are now experiencing shortage of foods, and it could be the reason, the causes of the poverty. Next causes is that a lack of opportunities as employment. So according to the DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment, our country's unemployment rate in February 2022 remained the same as the 6.4% reported a month ago. This lower than the employment rate of 8.8% in the same month in 2020. So, if the country are not able to do a solution for this problem, it could be the reason that more people will extremely suffer poverty and hunger. The third one is the lack of education. Since our government give us a free access to education, it could be a really big help to less the count of poverty in our country. Next is the causes is the corruption. Now, it is always part to a certain political system that lead into a country become more difficult to progress because of this unending corrupt politicians. The last one is that overconsumption and greed. So, as an individual, we can do things, little things that could be the reason to help our people to be responsible in everything, and not need to be agreed using our nature. In fact, let us help to be preserved and reserved for the future use in our generation, so we can use it moderately. So thank you for watching. So that would be the end of my topic, and the next topic will be reported to my partner, Jamaica Shane Marshall. Thank you.
The Pope takes a poop and the
Good day and God bless. I am Miss Jamaica Shane Marshall from Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So for today, I will be continuing our report. My assigned topic is all about challenging economic inequity. Economic inequity, also known as the gap between rich and poor, income inequality, wealth disparity, or wealth and income differences. The concept of inequity is distinct from that of poverty and fairness. So now, how can the resources of the world be more fairly distributed? These are the following suggestions pulled from various organizations working for development and from participants of workshops conducted by the Center for Peace Education. So, let's start with global. First is establish a new international and political economic order that is fair. So I think this new international and political economic should work together through uniting, respecting, and the aim is to promote economic development among the poor countries by improving their terms of trade and increasing development assistance. Second, the wealthy countries should open up their markets to poor countries without conditionality. So, it is important that the wealthy countries should take more responsibility for helping the poorer countries in such areas, because it will help eradicate poverty to an absolute end. This will help people become economically sound, socially responsible, and to fight poverty in developing nations. Third, developed countries should provide unconditional debt relief, as it is the foreign debt burden that compels most developing countries to reduce allocations for basic social and economic services. So, debt is a major development issue. There is widespread support for lifting the burden of debt from the poorest countries. Debt relief frees developing countries from their debt service payments. They can then use these savings to contribute to poverty reduction. Fourth, the assistance given to developing nations should be in the form of grants without conditions that further push the country in the bottom of the poverty cauldron. And fifth, rich countries should open access to technologies as technology helps propel. So it is a big contribution in rich countries to open access to technologies that it has profound effects in the economy, such as reducing the national cost of production and establishing standards for quality. 6. Reduce military expenditures so that more resources could be made available. So now let's proceed to national. So first, a genuine and comprehensive agrarian reform program should be implemented. So the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program was implemented by President Corazon Aquino. It is the redistribution of the agricultural resources of a country. So basically, the aim of this program is changing power relation by abolishing large landed property and feudal production system and this would contribute to the political stability of the country. Second, the government should increase subsidy for education, which helps even the playing field. Third, the government and private leading institutions should institute credit reforms that will support small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. So, the small and medium-scale entrepreneurs have a very important role in developing the Philippine economy. They help reduce poverty by creating jobs for the country's growing labor force, and it also boosts performance and economic growth. Fourth, the government should provide training skills programs such as livelihood and marketing programs. Fifth, progressive taxation reforms should be instituted to increase the purchasing of the poor. Rural infrastructures such as farm-to-market roads and drying facilities for harvest should be developed. So, progressive taxation has direct impact on reducing income inequality. Our taxation rates, however, must be based on our own realities. On the pro side, a progressive tax system reduces the tax burden on the people who can less afford to pay. 6. The government should make itself more accessible and visible to the people through decentralization. 7. The transnational corporation should be obliged to make contributions to community development and environmental protection. So, the main goal for such a transnational corporation is to get as much profit as possible. In most cases, they strive to advance and highlight the development of a global capitalism. 8. A code of conduct should be set for transnational corporation to be followed. And lastly, reduce military expenditures so that more resources would be made available for basic services and productive activities. So, increasing military expenditure lead by increasing economic growth rates, while increased military spending leads to slower economic growth. It is ascertained that military expenditures has several positive effects such as capital, labor, growth, and effectual use of available resources in the economy as a whole.